Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our AACUC After Hours Women's Chat. We prepared another hot topic for us to discuss. Now, before we get started, we have a few general announcements to share with you. Please note the housekeeping rules for this session. We invite you to turn on your cameras and engage with us throughout the session with the virtual clap, chat, or raise your hand. You can direct message your questions for the presenter to Q&A in the chat. Remember, unless you are called upon as a program participant, please keep your volume muted on your microphone and/or devices. If you experience technical issues during the presentation, please feel free to send a direct message to the tech team in the chat. All sessions will be recorded and available after the conference. We invite you to share your conference experience and comment on our Instagram and social media using the hashtags AACUC 2021, Bold, Mindful, Brave, Commitment to Change, and CTC 2021.
Awesome. Well, my name is Gilene Janvier, and I am the Micro Enterprise Development Specialist at Suncoast Credit Union in Tampa, Florida. We also have Latesha Wheeler, the Executive Assistant at DC Credit Union in Washington, DC. And last but not least, Stacey Bryant, Executive Vice President of Credit Union Relationships at CheckAlt. And it is our pleasure to be your host this evening.
All right, and we would like to thank our title sponsor, PSCU, and all of our sponsors. So now that business is taken care of, let's go ahead and get started. Just like yesterday, being an AACUC after hours event, we're keeping it casual and want to have a real talk about this topic. Yesterday's conversation was amazing, and we encourage you to join in the conversation within the chat and the Q&A. Tonight, we're going to wrap up the conversation about the myths of work-life balance, and we invite each and every one of you to share some tips and tricks that you use in your life. And if time permits, we're also going to go ahead and share some of our reflections of the actual conference thus far and how we've been impacted by it. So right now, we want to hear from you. Let's go ahead and chat.
All right, so today our focus will be on what we do to manage it all. Tonight is a great opportunity to pour into your sisters and help them out with your knowledge. Don't be shy, and also keep in mind that we want to get help from a plethora of voices. So let's try to keep our tips and tricks down to 30 seconds to a minute max. I'll give you an example to start. I used to double and triple book events, and that would make me miss appointments and really look bad. So now when I have an appointment, I have to send myself the invitation from my work and my personal email. And that has, for whatever reason, kept me on track. When I have something private that's personal, I still share it to my work email, but I keep the details at a minimal. So after doing that, it has really helped me just minimize the double and triple booking. So that's my tip. Latesha, what are some tips and tricks that help you?
Thank you, Gilene. So for me, I've started sending 3 words a week to my women and female chat groups. And for an example, it can be gratitude, joy, peace. And I send it just to disconnect from work and focus on something else that you might be dealing with. And at the end of the week, I always check in with them and say, hey, how's it going? How did it help you? Or they'll respond back to me like, Tish, I really needed these words. It also helps with mental health and just staying positive. We have a tendency to get into our work and then just focus on work only and not have time to step aside to focus on something personal or something fun that can relate to you during the week. So that's how those are some of the tips that I use. And Stacey, what about you? What are some tips and tricks that help you?
Thank you, Latesha. Yesterday I shared I'm a mom of 2 toddlers, 3 and 5, a wife, executive, and to control my anxiety and to control every facet of my life, I really, as simple as it sounds, rely heavily on my smart devices. So I have an Apple Watch, and so many times I'll have a conversation. Like I was currently registering my daughter for kindergarten, and I had to surrender some doctor documents. And in the middle, in between of my Zooms, I just say, hey, Siri, remind me tomorrow at 10 a.m. to call the doctor and obtain this questionnaire. Remind me at 1 p.m. to call my brother for his birthday, because who would forget their brother's birthday? But again, I would, right? Even my other device, Alexa, just so simple. It just goes a long way, because a long time ago, I thought that I can remember it all, and that's certainly not the case. And also for the sake of my own anxiety and self-love, I also heavily rely on play dates. My kids need these play dates, and so does mommy. So that's it for me. But what are I want to hear from the audience, and we want to hear from the audience. What are some tips and tricks that y'all personally use today to control that work-life balance? And again, please raise your hand at the bottom of your screen, and when called upon, unmute your mic, and we're going to go ahead and chat it up.
And also for those that need help raising, if you go to the bottom and click reactions, you'll see a hand raised, say raise your hand. And if your hand is already raised, you have the option to lower your hand. So
I see a lot of people who want to chime in. I hope I do not butcher your name, but Exxon, the Exxon, did I say that right?
No, it's actually Gloria. It's put my last name first.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, Gloria. I apologize.
No problem. Hi, this is Gloria with BECU. And what I do to really, help my work-life balance is I allow myself to feel my emotions. I don't scare myself away from or stop myself from being true to them. Maybe I don't show it in front of other people, but I allow myself to feel that. And then I find a constructive place to release it. Normally it's my husband, because, we're in quarantine. It's just me and him, so he has become my counselor of all things. But, some place to release those emotions and get it off my chest and, be true to how I felt, or either get his perspective and say, no, maybe you're not seeing this from a good point of view.
Wow, I love that you have a confidant that you can talk to. All right, Kelly, you have the mic.
Hey, good evening, everyone. Just to give you an idea of my work-life balance, I gotta turn my pump off right now so that you can hear me. I've got a toddler who's 3, a baby who's 10 months, a newly senior manager at my credit union. I'm also my mom. I'm her caregiver, so I'm like feeling all the things. And Stacey, when you talk about anxiety, I too have an anxious brain, so like I feel you there. It's just all the things are going on all the time. But most recently, my mantra has been that I want to not necessarily have more time in the day, but gather more peace with the time that I have. And so my way of doing that has been to make my present moment bigger than my past or my future. So I'm not thinking too much about things that has happened. Like there's nothing that I can do to change any past or fire that went on or anything like that. There's not anything right now in the present that I can do about the future. But what I can do is concentrate on my breathing. What I can do is play with my baby that's right here sitting in front of me. All the things that I can do right now, I can sip on this coffee while it's hot, and so like tangibly trying to be present and mindful and because you're still going to be thinking about what's behind you and what's in front of you. Like you can't erase those things, but just consciously making what's going on right now bigger than any of those other things. So just showing up big in the moments that are right in front of you.
Mama, okay, Kelly, you preaching tonight. I love it.
Look, I get it from you.
You're present and mindful.
Listen, I back Kelly as well. And I have had several conversations with Gilene, and Gilene makes it happen right then and there. An email has to be sent out. We're going to type this email right now and we're going to send it. So thank you.
Awesome. Well, we have Kendra Adams. You're up next. Please unmute your mic.
Well, good evening, ladies. So my work-life balance is I have a 19-year-old in college. I'm divorced, and with senior management, I have 6 offices. So I have an open door policy, which means I allow them to text me if they need me, whether before work, after work, or whatever. And I'm okay with that. But what I've had to do is pick and choose what's going to be the priority as to where I need to be. So whether I'm talking about sorority life balance work and doing community development, that I had to sit down with a couple of people to say, I need to be removed from this board. This may not be my passion right now. So I need to concentrate on the ones that are important to me. And also getting a monthly massage through Hand and Stone Monthly, because I need to carve out some of this tension. And I need to have a space that is my own and not shared with anyone. Uninterrupted time.
Oh, Kendra, you are speaking my language. I love it. Prioritizing, saying no, which we talked a lot about last night, and taking care of yourself. All right, Miss Sandy Green.
Hey guys, I work for a credit union and I'm an events manager there. And then I also, a few years ago, started a nonprofit, and it's all volunteer, and I can't run away from it because I started it. And so there's this moment when you're doing all of the things all of the time that your brain just kind of has a spike. And at that second, if you can do it before then, but at that second, I realized I got to walk away from this. And I always have a guitar next to me. So I can just pick it up and I can just play whatever I want, and I don't even necessarily know what I'm playing. I'm just fiddling around, but it's so cleansing and so freeing, and it's so connecting to the universe and not these tiny little tasks or enormous tasks. So I don't want to go past my 1 minute, but I do know one thing. I gave guitars to a school for the blind a while back, and a little boy had never touched an instrument, and it didn't make sense to me. So I took them there, I let him play the guitar, and he signed, "I feel it in my heart." So pick up an instrument. It's just cleansing and deliciousness and good for your soul.
All right, Sandy, you're not gonna ruin my makeup tonight. But helping people found your joy, and when you're stressed out, you go back to that joy, which is your guitar. So we are loving it. I need more hands to go up because we are ladies in this house. We need to hear your tips and tricks. So please go ahead and raise your hand. Thank you so much. I have, oh goodness, Miss Finch. I don't want to ruin your name.
Yeah, I don't want to mess her name up either, Miss Finch.
It's pronounced Lutricia, but you can just call me Lou.
Lou, thank you.
So kind of my little safe haven or go away is I have a green thumb. I love plants. And so recently during the pandemic, I went out and bought a variety of exotic or crazy plants. So I get up every morning, I tend to those plants, spend some time with them. Sat on my patio. I have a water fountain that I'll sometimes fall asleep in my chair when I'm out there, but that is my safe haven where I can kind of think, regroup, relax, and that's that meditation zone that kind of lets me bring it all back. So it's my getaway spot. So I look for like meditation type things that I can do that kind of helps me with that self-care, self-love.
Oh, I love that. What you sowing and reaping, it's just such a powerful principle. And when you're gardening, I could see how therapeutic that can be, and it can also help you meditate. So thank you for sharing that. All right, Miss Brittany.
Hi, good evening, everyone. So for me, I have actually tapped into my spirituality. So I do my meditations, I do my crystal work. I also have found my green thumb. I also make it mandatory to have a girls' night every month. I also make it mandatory where I take a trip every year. I make it mandatory where I turn off and shut off all my electronics before I go to bed so I have time to relax and regroup. And also my morning routine. I think that's so important for your morning routine. So my thing that I do every morning, I get up, plant my feet on the ground, and I say, I'm thankful for having this day. Today is going to be a good day. I'm intentionally planning my day. And then I go to my altar and say my prayers and just go through my daily tasks. And I make it intentional to make my day a good day. And if somebody is trying to mess up my day, I remove myself from the situation. I go and meditate so I can reground and regroup and refocus.
Nice. You're making me think of Tabitha Brown. Okay. I love it. Thank you so much for sharing that. You have your non-negotiables and you are not playing with that. All right, let's go, Miss Dominique.
Good evening, everyone. Like Brittany, I also carve out time for my prayer life. I make sure every morning, each morning, Monday through Sunday, I spend time just praying. I feel like after I start my day with God, the rest is okay. Everything's gonna be okay at that point. And I also make sure I do not rob myself of milestones. So yesterday I shared I'm very busy. So I make sure if I did accomplish something, no matter how small or big it is, that is a milestone for me. So I celebrate that. So I do not rob myself of milestones stating that, oh, I didn't get this done. Yes, but you got this done. So.
I love it. You're patting yourself on the back and celebrating who you are. Yes, I love that. Oh, God, we are just getting so much tonight. Keep feeding our souls. I apologize. Miss Sheila, could you share some tips and tricks?
Most definitely. All right. So a lot of the stuff everybody's mentioned, Kendra, yes, I buy my massage package because like I said in chat, that way, prepay for that massage. So you're going to make sure you make that appointment because I done paid for this. So that's how you keep that appointment. I'm like Miss Lou. I go out and on a really bad day, there is nothing like pulling weeds. If y'all ever want to get rid of your frustration, come over to my house, pull the weeds. Pull the weeds. You will feel so much better. But my real go-to, I have two go-tos. Of course, I start my day with prayer, but I'm a workaholic. Our department's growing. I'm busy. Got family stuff going on. I'm the only caretaker for my 92-year-old dad. So much going on in life. But I have my one cousin that is my best friend and is my confidant. And she is that person I go to, and we talk to each other because her mom is just 6 weeks younger than my dad. So we have some of the same issues. So having that confidence, then find that thing that gives you pleasure. My thing is trip planning. So I sit down and I do trip planning. I do it for myself. I do it for friends. We're going to Alaska 2 weeks in one day. I'll be in Alaska, got a 2-week trip plan, got everything. It's like, I'm going to need a vacation after my vacation because there's so much. But there's nothing like looking at other places, going and researching. It's like looking at a book, a travel book, looking on site at beautiful hotels or activities to do, restaurants to go to. Because even if you don't go right then, if you go someday, it takes your mind to another place. And it just gives you that relaxation and a goal for you to set for yourself of just, hey, I'm going to go here someday. I'm going to save for this. And it just feels so good because your mind, that's the only time I don't think about work is when I'm doing my trip planning. I'm engrossed in that new place that I'm going.
I love it. Thank you so much for that. You're just motivating me to do whatever I want to do. I love it. All right. So we are on a time restraint. So we have 3 more people. We have Stephanie, then Rhiannon, and then we're going to end with SB.
Hi, good evening again. Well, with me, I too, I like to start my morning off with prayer, and that kind of sets me for the day because I don't believe in a bad day. Bad means that God anointed it that way, so it's blessed, anointed, and divine. So there's no such thing as a bad day for me. I hate exercising, so I spend 30 minutes in the morning dancing. That's how I get my workout in. I love to cook. I've been on Weight Watchers for the last 3 years. I've lost 100 pounds. I used to be 320 pounds. So I love to cook, and I've learned how to cook healthy. But my passion and my love is writing. As I said last night, I'm an author. I have 9 books. I write paranormal romance. So that's my escape, because I can let my imagination take me wherever I want to go, and it just takes me to a different place altogether. Thank you.
Ooh, I love it, using that creativity. Thank you so much, Stephanie. All right, really quickly, Rhiannon and Essie.
Yeah, so I prioritize my day with a bracelet. So I actually have tabs that I added to just like a scrunchie bracelet. I realize that most of my day I spend either like 100% in work or just always thinking of my looming personal responsibilities. So instead, I just pick the top 7 things for the entire day. That's work, that's my own personal life, and then remove the tabs as they get completed, so I can just keep remembering. On top of that, I just have like a practice where once I give my husband like the recap of my work day, I don't talk about work anymore when I'm not working. Like that's just a boundary I don't do, to keep that balance. And then prioritizing mental health through scheduling mental health days and going to therapy.
Yes, thank you so much for bringing that up. Yes, we need therapy. We believe in therapy. And someone mentioned exercise, and so 2 great things. All right, Espy, you end the conversation about tips and tricks.
Yes. So yes to everything everybody else has stated. I am pretty creative, so I actually do bullet journaling, and I love buying the stickers and stuff, and just it helps with organization. It also helps with just writing about your day and having like a to-do list, like I did this today instead of a to-do. And then my other one is hiking. I love hiking, and I think Hazel May knows this. I love posting pictures of the places that I find, those little hidden gems. So definitely getting outdoors, and if I'm next to a body of water, like I am reset, I am good, I let everything go, and I can continue being the mom, the daughter, all those hats that we put on. So those are my tricks.
Oh my goodness, I love it. Connecting with nature, having a to-do list. Oh my goodness, I never heard that before. So I truly love it. Thank you guys so much for sharing your tips and tricks. Latesha, I think you're on mute.
I'm going to start over. Wow, thank you all for that wisdom and insight. I'm sure that we all found something new to help manage the chaos that can be our lives. This 2-part women's chat has been fun, and now I want to shift gears and get some of your reflections on the AACUC conference thus far. 2 questions. What are some key takeaways? And what is one behavioral shift you will make as a result of this conference? Please raise your hands using the reactions and unmute yourself once you've been called upon. And we're going to make this at least for 1 minute to talk.
Well, I guess I can start. This afternoon session was just so important, learning about the Hispanic community and just being genuine when you're trying to connect with them, not using stock photos, but just really showing the value that credit unions already have. So, that was, I think, my biggest takeaway from this entire conference. And of course, tonight, you guys have poured in so much. I have so many ideas based on what you guys have said. So I will definitely take all of that to heart. So does anybody else want to share just the conference thus far, any reflections or things that you will do to change as a result of the conference?
I'd like to say that I attended every workshop and seminar that's been going on. And oh my gosh, I was telling my mom the first night the next day I was talking to her and I started crying. And it wasn't a cry of sorrow, it was a cry of joy to be with my peers, to be with people I've idolized and legends and great leaders, and especially Renee, because I've followed her. I've always, followed her. And to actually hear her in this setting was just so great. It's just been like pure gold poured into me. So much knowledge, so much wisdom, and has given me a greater strength and perseverance. I'm getting ready to cry again, of what I want to do. It's just been awesome. It's no real one word to say what all of this means. And it shows you that iron sharpens iron.
That's one of my favorite quotes, scriptures, iron sharpens iron. Thank you so much. Man, this is going to be a tear fest before it's all over. Trying to hold it together.
Kendra, did you want to say something? I saw your hand, but I didn't. Kendra Adams. Okay.
Yes. Well, it's been phenomenal. I'll just be honest with you. And it's just a re-up. It's a re-up for your passion. It's getting new ideas. It is networking. Some people I know from LinkedIn, and now even like Stacey, being able to hear her, I didn't know who she was, but she was on my connection list, and seeing speakers like Carrie Hunt coming out. And I work in a male dominated C-suite situation, and to be able, I love hearing what everyone brings in, but I definitely love hearing women step up, the CEOs, and saying what I do, that I can do it all, and working together to figure it out. This chat is to say, hey, we are super women, but at the same time, we have to know how to reel it back. We have to take care of ourselves. So just sharpening the tools, making the wheels turn, just exciting under Renee Satterwhite. Everything's just been awesome. So I just want to say, you ladies and gentlemen, you have rocked it out this year, virtual or not. You have done an
Awesome. Well, thank you, Kendra, for sharing those sentiments. I believe that a lot of us feel the same way. So we're just very grateful. Well, I know we can talk all night, but alas, the time has come for us to move on to the next. So thank you so much for joining in on the conversation. The DEI Trailblazer Award begins at 7:15 p.m. Eastern. So take this time to go get fancy.
And also just remember that the schedule tomorrow is a little different. We'll go ahead and start the Power and Special Track breakout starting at 3 p.m. Eastern. And then the culture architect, Tony Moore, and AACUC's very own Miss Renee Satterwhite, that she touches us all, will close us out at 4:40 p.m. Eastern time. And Tony Moore actually spoke at Suncoast Credit Union's All-Employee Conference, so he does not disappoint at all.
Good night, everyone. Thank you. See you later.